In this video, we are creating a Cristiano Ronaldo figure in his Nassr kit. Let's check the schedule for the video. First we have figure prep and assembly, followed by sculpting with epoxy clay, painting, decal application, painting, the final review, and a mini review at the end. So, what do we need? Do pause the video to take a look at the items needed. Let's start. Now it's time to detach the head from the body. So method 1 is using a wood carving tool to dig and detach the head from the body. For method 2, we can use the power of Let's start prepping the head. I got this head from China and I'm using a curved wood carving tool. Once again, please exercise precaution when handling the tools. I'm trying to replicate how his hair looked during his grandiose reveal at Al Nassr. Next, I'm going to use super glue to bond the head and the body. I'm applying pressure for at least 10 seconds to get the parts attached. I also decided to use a hobby filing tool to sand down the sleeves of the figure. And with that, figure prep and assembly is finished. Now let's move on to sculpting with epoxy clay. These are the items that we need. I'm using epoxy. Like I was saying, I'm using Epoxy Sculpt, which is a 2-part clay that cures within a few hours. Do remember to mix it well. Next, I am applying clay to the neck area, hair and base. I'm using a silicone shaping tool to spread the clay evenly. Remember, epoxy clay usually blends very well with water. For detailing the clay, I'm using a needle scoring tool to create indents and sculpt the hair texture. Once I'm satisfied with how it looks, I will let it cure overnight. This is how it looks after curing. And with that, sculpting with epoxy clay is finished. Let's move on to painting. These are my recommended items for painting. Please use a DIY wet palette. 11 out of 10 artists will recommend using one. Now this is me setting up my wet palette. I'm using this as a primer. Primers help future layers of paint stick onto the figure. I usually prime the figure in 2 to 3 coats. Next, I'm using this as a base skin tone. I try to get as smooth of a finish as I can, so please take your time when painting. Did you know that yellow is one of the worst colors to paint? I did some research on the YouTubes and found out that priming your surface red before applying yellow will help to reduce the number of layers used to paint yellow. This is how it looks after one layer of yellow. I am definitely using this technique for future projects. After 3 layers of yellow, it is time to paint the blue parts of the jersey. I'm using this. And this is how it looks after 2 layers of painting blue. Next, I'll be painting the wristbands and shoes white, followed by detailing of the Nike boots he wore at his reveal. And with that, painting part 1 is finished. Let's move to decal application and let's check out what we need. Do pause the video or take a screenshot if you like to. If you like to support the channel, I will appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and follow me on my other platforms. Links in the description below. Remember, I'm using clear water slide sheets and I'm cutting the decals as carefully as I can before dropping them into water for around 20 to 30 seconds. I remove the backing and place the decals onto the figure. If needed, I will use a small amount of water to get the decals into the desired positions. Once it is in the desired position, use a tissue to remove excess water and lock it in place. Alright, let's look at what's next. It's painting part 2. Before I can start painting the face, I would like to share I was not too happy with the color of blue I painted for the jersey. I spent 2 hours trying to find the correct mix of blue. Like, look at the amount of trial and error I did to get the blue. Lucky I was able to replenish the water in my wet palette with the tears of sadness and sorrow. Moving on, it's now time to detail the face. I'm using a dark red wash, which is a very thin down paint to paint the crevices of the mouth area. I was scared to paint it normally because I really want the details of the teeth to shine. I then used the same primer to paint its little chiclets, followed by white to highlight the teeth. Next is painting lips. A tip is to use your skin tone and mix it with the red or pink to create a color that blends with the skin tone. We do not want it to contrast too much unless you're Erling Haaland, so please blend your reds and your pinks with your skin tone. I decided to use the same mix to paint the flesh areas of the eyes. I also used the same mix to paint the other details of the face to make the figure really pop and highlight Cristiano Ronaldo's facial structure. I painted the shadows of the nose bridge, folds in his cheeks, sides of the temple, ears and jawline. It's very subtle, but it makes a big difference, trust me. Next, I'm going to use a mix of bone color and white to paint the eyeballs. Before I can paint the eye details, I decided to paint the 5 o'clock shadow on the face and also the sides of the hair. I learned this trick last year where I add blue to the skin tone, and this creates a very nice blended look for the 5 o'clock shadow and the sides of the hair if you're going for a faded look. Now it's time to paint the eye details. I will paint the eyelids carefully, followed by the irises. I finished the eyes by painting a combination of brown and black on the iris before moving on to the eyebrows. Now all that is left is to paint the hair and base. So painting part 2 is finished, and let's get ready for the final reveal. the review, I would like to share that I did make some changes to the Ronaldo figure. I decided to paint his inner sleeves blue to match to what he wore for his debut match for Al Nassr. Well, this figure is actually a birthday gift to my brother. He's a massive Cristiano Ronaldo fan. Here's a sneak peek at my brother's collection, aka my works over the years. Alright, here's my review. I will rate this 2.5 for difficulty in making this figure. I think it is quite an easy process for me to make this figure. For resemblance, I'm gonna give it a score of 4.5 out of 5 because the original sculpt is really amazing and I think the hair is pretty accurate to his grandiose reveal at Al Nassr. For overall look, I'll rate it at 3 out of 5 because I'm not used to seeing Cristiano Ronaldo in this attire. Overall, this figure gets a whopping 10 out of 15 in my books. Let me know what you think out of 15 in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I would appreciate if you could watch my World Cup edition of a Lionel Messi figure, the GOAT, I did over here. Please be safe, be responsible, and be respectful. Bye.